Only one presence and one power.
Believe it's on.
There's only one presence and one power. There's only one presence and one power. Active in my life, hey Judy, and all the universe. There's only one presence and one power. There's only one presence and one power, active in my life and in all the universe. There's only one presence and one power. There's only one presence and one power. There's only one presence and one power. There's only one presence. Well, good morning. And welcome. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
It's wonderful to see you all here today. Thank you so much for being with us this morning. And if you're on the live stream, thank you for being on the live stream and being with us on this beautiful Christmas morning here at Unity Palo Alto and in the Bay Area. We're so glad that you're with us today. If you're new to Unity, what we want you to know is that Unity is a global spiritual community welcoming people from all walks of life. People who are seeking a deeper experience and expression of spirit in their lives, a greater sense of health, wholeness, and abundance, people looking for transformation, spiritual growth, and to do life better. We're so blessed this morning to have as just this cozy, comfortable Christmas morning. Casey Wicker is joining me on our platform. Catherine Hammock Down is filling in as our soloist. Russell Norman's on piano. And we're going to be doing a lot of singing today, so you are all part of our choir today, as usual, for all of our songs. So I'm going to invite you to stand as we sing our first song.
Yourselves. Go ahead. Woo-hoo. So talk about go telling. I'm going to tell you about our 5 principles because we are part of a worldwide movement of you can sit. Go ahead and sit and relax. I did that last night too, made people stand. So I'm going to tell you about our 5 principles because we are part of a worldwide movement of prayer, publishing, and education that teaches practical spiritual tools to ground us and open us and to live this joyful life of abundance. So these 5 principles that ground us are, the first, God is. There is only one power active in the universe, in our lives, God the good omnipotent. And whether you call it God, isness, the universe, guess what? You're it. Our second principle is the I am. For God is the substance and intelligence innate in every person and in all creation. And our third principle, that thoughts and mind produce after their kind. We have the ability to affect our world. And the fourth principle is that practice of prayer and meditation. For prayer and meditation connects us with that creative, constructive power of God to work in and through us as us. Our fifth principle is the practical application. For as we living according to these truths daily, we become what we were created to be, the living expression of the image of God, which Unity calls the Christ. Now, these 5 core principles ground us in our vision statement, and I'm going to say it out loud first, and then I'll invite you to affirm it. Centered in God, we co-create a world that works for all. So pretend this is your Christmas wish, okay? Together. Centered in God, we co-create a world that works for all. And so it is. And so, shall we stand or sit for singing next? Can you stand? Would you like to stand for songs? Let's stand for the songs.
Let's stand.
Then we have a good diet.
Christmas.
And now a reading from the Daily Word. Today's Daily Word, you may be seated. Thank you. You know, it's up to you. We're going to do a lot of singing. If you want to sing from your seats, that's okay too. Oh, so today's Daily Word is Christmas. And our affirmation is on the screen, and I'll read it once and then invite you to affirm it with me. With joy, I welcome Christmas. Together, with joy, I welcome Christmas. Far from home, Luke's gospel story tells us Mary and Joseph welcomed a child with only a stable filled with animals as a birthing place and a feeding trough as a cradle. This story reminds me that no state of consciousness is too humble, no station of life is too lowly, and there is no fear that cannot give way to wonder. Wherever it finds a willing, welcoming heart, the Christ will always be born. No matter how I am celebrating Christmas, I will carry this awareness with me. Today, I feel the dawning of promise and potential in me as I feel the Christ presence within me afresh and anew. This is the greatest gift I could ever receive and the best gift I have to give. And from Luke chapter 2, verse 7, and she gave birth to her firstborn son and wrapped him in bands of cloth and laid him in a manger because there was no place for him in the inn. With joy, I welcome Christmas.
So, Reverend John, it's Christmas.
It's Christmas, Casey.
It is Christmas. And this is the excitement. You know, Jesus stands for that spiritual awareness in mankind. And so this story of birth is of a consciousness that is the light of the world. And what does our second principle teach us? Reverend John, it teaches us that we are that light.
We are that light.
We are that light. And that's the excitement, like this day, my heart, my mind, body and soul are open to that. We are the light, and there's this excitement, and there's like the light born anew. But, Reverend John, can we have
Casey?
an honest discussion here for a second?
Bring it on. Bring it to me.
Because this light and this excitement of that Christ conscious being born anew,
Yep.
it's not the only thing exciting about Christmas.
It's not.
It's not, because it's all about the presents. Right? Do you remember? Do you have a favorite childhood memory about a present you got? Can I share mine?
Please do.
Okay. I am dating myself, but it was when I got a boom box, my own boom box. Now, for those of you who might not know what a boombox is, let's just say it's a handheld stereo. But let me tell you, back in the day, the bigger, the better for a boombox. And I got this boombox that was, right? Oh my gosh. You guys, I thought I was all that. I had my cat vest on with those big blue eyes, and I got this Christmas picture. I got it on my shoulder, and I'm just like those 80s glasses, and I'm like, woo-hoo. I thought I was all that. It was all about the gift.
I'm just looking out to see if we're in the same generation. Before there were iPhones and AirPods, where you can listen to your music in private, you had to hold it on your shoulder. No, literally, this is the truth for all of you youngsters. You had to hold it on your shoulder, and then the whole world got to hear as you walked by.
And the bigger the boombox, the cooler you were.
Exactly. One of my favorite experiences, I was the stocking guy. I loved to open my stocking, and I would wake up literally at 3:30 in the morning. I'd run out there, it's all dark. I'd grab my stocking, come back into the bedroom, and would go under the covers. I don't know, I thought I was going to get caught or something. Get a flashlight and start, digging through my stocking. It was the fabulous thing. And it was a bittersweet, it was always bittersweet when one of the things in my stocking was a big pack of batteries. It was bitter because it's like, oh man, really? Where's the candy? But the sweet part of it was, yeah, get something that needs batteries. And that was a big thing. I don't know, do we have batteries anymore? Anybody use batteries? I don't know.
I don't know if stuff is USB now.
Everything seems to be pre-charged.
Pre-charged. So it's all about the gifts sometimes, right?
It is. Well, I'd like to bring us back into the Christmas story and talk about the spiritual gifts. Talk about the gifts from the wise men. And here's a reading from Luke. After the wise men had heard the king, they went on their way. And the star they had seen when it rose went ahead of them until it stopped over a place where the child was. When they saw the star, they were overjoyed. On coming to the house, they saw the child with his mother, Mary, and they bowed down and worshipped him. Then they opened their treasures and presented him with the gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh.
So, Reverend John, as we were preparing for today, this really hit me looking at, we'll get into the metaphysical about the gifts, but here's the deal. This day, right, is like that feeling of potentiality, that excitement, that light, that energy. It's like vibrant here. We can feel it, right? Right? Yes, yes? Yeah. Yes, yes?
Yes.
Yes. We feel that. And like I said before, I know I'm open to it, and it's just right there. It's right for the pickings. I get it. But we have to nurture it. Because I don't know about you, but come December 26th, I'm the what? I'm the light. Really? Right? It's hard. It's hard to stay in this. And spiritually, my goal is to embrace as much as I can, as often as I can, this Christmas idea. And so how it's for us to nurture. So what are we bringing to the table? What are we really going to open today when we walk out those doors? So let's take a look at these gifts that remind us that we are the light. So gold, metaphysically, from Revealing Word, which is written by our co-founder Charles Fillmore, the gold that the wise men brought to the Christ child was a consciousness of omnipresent richness of substance. And substance, through substance, all attributes of being, God, the universe, are expressed. So that's pretty deep. But really, that consciousness of an omnipresent richness of substance. One of my favorite aha moments in Unity was that the universe is always saying yes to us. So we're constantly creating, if I wake up and go, oh, it's going to be a crappy day, guess what? I'm going to have a crappy day. If I wake up and say, you know what, no matter what, it's going to be a good day, guess what I have? A good day. And so one thing for me that really nurtures this gift is grounding myself. And it can be meditation, it can be as simple as stopping for a breath. One of my favorite meditation verses about breathing, when they talk about breathing and getting into the breath, was let your breath hold you. Be held by your breath. So if you think about it, just stopping to move in and out, just being with that breath, letting my breath hold me, it gives me that space to be rooted in the present moment. And when I'm rooted in the present, my mind's not messing with the past or what could happen. When I'm rooted in the present, I'm more open to that divine mind. I'm open to what I'm creating with that substance. Yes? Yeah.
I love that. The present is the present. We've heard that before, haven't we? The thing that I love about this first principle, the idea of gold, and first off, the idea of metaphysically interpreting the Bible, because the Bible is the story of our consciousness. And so this idea of gold, grounding ourselves and rooting ourselves in the omnipresent substance of being, the allness of life, love, and wisdom, for me, it's so profound because, when we get caught up in our humanness, we get caught up in the things and the stuff that's going on, this is what grounds me, this is what brings me back to that center within me, that brings me back to that divine consciousness, is that idea that within me there is perfect peace, within me there is infinite love, within me there is perfect wisdom. And if I just get quiet enough, if I just still myself for a moment, I'll tune back into that infinite substance, that big thing that we're talking about, and it just becomes part of who I am. I then start living from that and moving through whatever manger, whatever situation, whatever circumstance that I'm in, moving through it with grace and ease, knowing that I'm one with all of it. So it's very quick to bring me back to, I don't have to make it confusing, right? I don't have to make it a big thing. You are the Christ. You are the light of the world. You can if you want. But on a day-to-day basis, it's kind of like, how will I show up as that goodness?
Can I reference something you just said? And for those who didn't tune in last night, you metaphysically spoke about the manger being a holy space.
Yeah. So the manger, if you can imagine the story we just read, Joseph and Jesus. It's Joseph and Jesus and Mary. Almost. Joseph and Mary pull into town, and Mary's ready to pop. That's a spiritual term. So Mary's ready to give birth, and there's no room at the inn. There's no place to go, and so they find a manger. Now, in the stories, right, is when anybody grow up with a manger story or a manger on the mantle, or were you in a play? And the manger was very beautiful, wasn't it? And the animals were so pretty, and it was nice and clean. I have to imagine that's not a real manger. So if you can imagine rolling into the manger, getting ready to give birth, the whole metaphysical interpretation of that is, wherever you are, whatever situations, whatever stuff is happening, whatever's lying around, if you bring that presence with you, you make it a holy place. It doesn't matter what's happening, what situation you're going through. If you bring and go back to the gift of gold, go back to the gift of consciousness, then you make that place holy and precious and beautiful. So that's the metaphysical interpretation of manger.
Thank you.
And that was so awakening to me because I had never, oh yeah, there's a manger. But then when I really dug into it this last week, it's like, oh, that's like life. We're just rolling into life.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that again. I love that. Wherever you are, there's holy ground. As long as your consciousness is.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Love that.
Well, let's move on to the second gift. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Frankincense. Now, frankincense metaphysically refers to the lifting up of consciousness from the material to the spiritual. So, how do we nurture this gift of moving from a consciousness of materialism, that's one slant on it, to a consciousness of spirituality? here we are in the manger, and we're going to need food. We're going to need shelter. We're going to need things in life. And you know what? We can want a nice bed, yeah? Everyone okay with that?
Yep.
We can we don't have to stay in the manger. It's like that verse, yea, though I walk through the valley of shadow of death. Well, don't set up camp. Keep walking. So the frankincense is, how do we move our awareness from just the materialistic things in life to looking at life as spiritual abundance, spiritual flow? I think that's one of the key gifts in this is we have all these beautiful things, like this beautiful Christmas tree that our Unity decorating elves put up, and they'll be taking down this next week. And we thank them for all of their work. Mm-hmm. And the gift of that, it's not just a tree. This is a symbol of their love, of their connection with all of us, of their desire to create beauty. And so when we look at our life and we look at the things, we can look at them not just as things, but as something that spiritually uplifts me. How does this spiritually uplift me? And how that will change for me. That changes my focus on the day-to-day life. It's like, okay, here's what is. Here's what's in my house. Here's the things that I'm doing, the things that I'm trying to achieve. Now, spiritually, how does that lift me up? Because there really is no separation between spirituality and our human experience. And when we get to realize that, we realize that all of life is a spiritual experience. In all of our humanness, in all of our materialism, in all of our ego pain, it's all just to remind us that we are holy and sacred beings.
And I know for me, a big red flag when I am disconnected with this, it's all about not enoughness. There isn't enough. There isn't enough. I'm not getting enough attention. I'm not getting enough love. I'm not getting enough time. I'm not getting enough. And so what I nurture, the gift that I nurture, is just simple joys. Simple joys in life. I'm going to tell you, my biggest simple joy came this summer. I makeshifted a bird bath. And I cannot tell you the joy I get from seeing these little birds. I'm going to get a little come and clean themselves in my bird bath. And just think they're all that. It's like Christmas Day for them. And why it hits me and why those simple joys are so important, it reminds me of my connectedness. I am one with the allness of life. Even that itty-bitty bird coming to get some water. So I know that I need to start looking for the joy, even if it's the simple joy in my life when I turn and get away and far from that spiritual oneness and knowing.
And when you start to look for joy, you will find it. When you start to look for things that bring you joy, that bring you gratitude, that bring you, that sense of peace, that sense of abundance, you'll find it because you're looking for it. And when you're looking, as Casey, I think you said in the opening, the principles. When you think today is going to be a crappy day, you're looking for the crap. Another spiritual term. Just saying. Don't send me an email tomorrow. But you're looking for the stuff in life because your lens, your consciousness is focused around that. So I love that idea of seeking out the joy every day, seeking out the things that make you feel grateful, that bring you appreciation, because that shifts your lens. One of the, at the Riley house, all of the family is waiting for me. I've got all the kids, 3 kids are home, and they're getting ready. I did open my stocking already, so that's one thing I was able to do, yeah. And no batteries. Which doesn't mean anything because not everything is charged. Anyway, but one of the, we kind of looked at each other. We were asking the kids, we're going through this, just full steam ahead. When Christmas falls on Sunday, it's like December is shortened. That's the feeling I got, because if it's like on a Wednesday, then the week starts, for me, it feels different. And we kept asking each other, so what do you want for Christmas? And what do you want for Christmas? And all the kids are like, I don't know. I don't really need anything. I don't want stuff. Ethan said, well, I was thinking about more RAM, but I'm not playing I'm not playing games on the computer anymore. So I don't know what I'd do with that. He's got a girlfriend. So, yeah. So, and we kept talking, thinking about, well, what's Christmas going to be like? And it's kind of like, on one hand, is it a failure? We don't have, the big mountain of gifts. I'm no longer counting my gifts under the tree like I used to do when I was a kid. But what we all came up with was an experience. We want to have an experience together. We're all together, and when the oldest, Erin, comes home from college, she's back from UC Irvine, and that first day, Ray, my youngest child, was just all about Sissy, and the two of them were talking. They binge watched the TV show Heartstopper. I don't know if you've seen that one, but that's on Netflix, I think. And it was just like the two of them were inseparable. And then they go and get. That's it. Thank you. Yeah, sorry, wrong generation. I don't do boba. They go and get boba. That's exactly what they did. And the gift of joy. The gift of joy of just being together and being connected. So what we decided to do is this week we're going to have an experience in the city. And maybe do a spa day. Everyone's going to pick out their own thing. We're going to do lunch. And it's about being together. And so that is, looking at that gift of joy.
Enjoy. That's going to be a good one.
Yeah, thank you.
And on to myrrh. So myrrh is the eternity of spirit, an emblem of resurrection, and this one I love, the ointment of love. The ointment of love. So how do I nurture that gift? And for me, it's compassion. And I'm going to say specifically self-compassion, because compassion is pretty easy to give. Pretty easy. I did learn a spiritual term from my reverend, that there are those knuckleheads, right? Did I get it right?
Very spiritual term, yep.
There are those knuckleheads that are hard to give compassion, and I'll get to those knuckleheads in a second. But really, compassion is fairly easy to give for me to another person. Now, self-compassion, that can be tough. And it benefits the knucklehead when I do self-compassion, because it humbles me. It reminds me I am worthy. It reminds me to come back to center. It reminds me that I am the light. And it creates this greater capacity within me to love. And it's that kind of, it reminds me, I'm humbled. I'm humbled when I can hold self-compassion. And it opens me to that connectedness with all human beings. And so it benefits the knucklehead, because it creates a depth within me that I can go, oh, I can get why maybe they're acting that way. I can see it in myself. I can forgive and love myself. And now I can extend it to that knucklehead. So it really, I feel like self-compassion is such an important piece. It's, that emblem of resurrection. To me, self-compassion is my begin again. Let's begin again. Let's have a fresh start here.
I love that idea of self-compassion. I want to sidetrack just for a moment and talk about myrrh. Anybody in a play, in that, the manger play that we talked about earlier? I got to be a guest king at, my brother, his girlfriend, when they were putting on the Christmas show, and they recruited me to be one of the kings, and I had to carry the myrrh. And I say had to because no one wanted to carry myrrh. Everyone wanted the frankincense and the gold. Who wants to carry myrrh? No one even knew what myrrh was. Anybody have that experience? Or is it just me? Thank you for being my therapist this morning. But myrrh, this idea, this balm, this healing balm. Because through life we will have the knuckleheads. We will be the knuckleheads. We will have the experiences that need healing. And myrrh is the gift for us to heal ourselves. Because the reality is there are no knuckleheads. I know, this is going to be a tough one. There are no knuckleheads out there. The only thing that makes somebody a knucklehead is me thinking they're a knucklehead, is me being upset with what they're doing, is me not being present, not being centered, and allowing them, whatever they're doing, to draw me off balance, to drain my energy. They're just being who they are. Now, they may be acting from their shadow side, their ego. They may be acting from pain or their own wound. But how am I responding? Am I responding with compassion, with self-compassion, to know that this isn't about me? It's about their wound. So this idea of this healing balm, all forgiveness is self-forgiveness. All healing out there is healing in here. So when we realize that we have these spiritual boundaries, and we're strong in our spiritual boundaries, it doesn't matter what, knuckleheadedness goes on out there. Because I am centered and grounded with the gift of gold. When I have that idea of that space between me where I begin and where I end, what's mine to do, and when I come from that, I can only be that presence, that light. And when I want to be my authentic self, then nothing else affects me. Or at least it affects me less. And when it does affect me, I'm much quicker to return to that groundedness because I'm regrounding myself in that presence and power. I'm reestablishing my own sense of well-being. And when I come from my own sense of well-being, then I can be that peaceful presence. Then I can be that light in the world. Then I can be that compassionate person that listens and doesn't take it personally. Doesn't always happen. I need that gift of myrrh, and I need to cultivate that gift of myrrh, that gift of self-healing and self-compassion, so that I can be whole when I am expressing and being with my friends and family, being with my colleagues, driving down the freeway, going through the store on December 26th for all the sales. All that chaos. I can still be present and be the presence. And it's such a gift to cultivate. I think it's one of the most important gifts because it's where the rubber hits the road. We come into that manger and we're there again. It's like, okay, here I am. It's the same manger. We just keep going around in circles. I'm leaving now and we come back around. Have you ever noticed that? The things that with the knuckleheads that are out there, they're all doing the same thing that tick me off. Why is that? Because I own it. It's my own manger. So every time I come around in that spiral, it's like, oh, I'm a little bit more aware. Oh, there it is again. Hello, wonderful friend. Come on over. Have a seat. Because it's just it's the child in me. It's my inner child that needs to be loved. It's that inner being that needs the gift of healing. So if I can bring that wounded me over and give myself a little self-compassion, a little self-love, a little, just speak to my little former child that was wounded, I can give myself that and then be present for whatever situation is happening around me. So that's my take on myrrh.
I love it. I love it.
I think we're going to... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so today is Christmas, and we celebrate this Christ consciousness, the light that is born anew in each one of us. My question is, how will you nurture this light? What are the gifts that keep you centered in your Christ consciousness? And hopefully, Reverend John and I have given you some food for thought, but you have a task. Your task to explore this week. What is it that keeps you grounded in the light? What makes it Christmas Day? What brings you back? Back to the light. Come back to the light. Know that. Put energy into figuring that out and to practicing it. Why is it important? Because you are the light. You are the hope. You are the joy. You are the peace. You are the light. And so our affirmation today, I will read it first, and then I'm going to say something. So let me just pause. I know those of you who are regulars here are going to want to jump in and say it. So our affirmation is, I nurture the gifts that center me in the light I am. And I'm going to ask you to say it out loud, and you can say it as loud as you need to or as soft as you need to, but I want you to say it in a way that you hear it, that you mean it, that you get it. You're not saying this out loud right now to share in this and fill up the space and the sound. You are saying it for you. So one more time, I'm going to say it, and then you say it however you need to. Slow, fast, loud, quiet. I nurture the gifts that center me in the light I am. So together, I nurture the gifts
that center me in the light I am.
And so it is.
And so it is. Let's take that idea into our time of meditation and affirmative prayer. As we move into this process, I invite you to become settled, to take a nice, deep, cleansing breath and to close your eyes if that feels comfortable, or soften your gaze. Our practice is to move from the experience of the outer world, the experience of our thoughts and our emotions, the sensations that we're feeling, to move away from all of the sounds and the sirens in our life, to just allow them to be as we travel within. And so with a breath, we allow our body to relax. If you're sensing any stress or strain in your mind, your thoughts, your emotions, or your body, put your focus in your feet. Wiggle your toes. Feel the earth beneath you. Feel that grounding energy as all of that stress drains from you. And as you release, breathe into your heart space and bring to mind that gift of love, that gift of appreciation, as we breathe into our heart space. The gift that the wise man brought to the Christ child was a consciousness, an awareness of the omnipresent richness of substance, the allness of life, love, and wisdom that is.
And as with frankincense, we lift up our consciousness from the material to the spiritual. In this moment, in this breath, I celebrate my spiritual knowing of my connectedness. In those times, if I become disconnected, if there's a disconnect and something within me is calling me to remember, I am the light. I bring in that ointment of love. I bring in that compassion. I remember to begin again at any moment, at any time of day. I open to and accept and nurture the knowing of the I am, the light that I am.
With each breath, we are born anew. With each breath, that divine consciousness, the spark of divinity, the Christ within, arises. Let us bathe in this awareness. Allow this warmth, this comfort, this ease and grace to be as we rest in the stillness of the silence. From this awareness of our oneness with all of life, with the infinite, with Source, we affirm the gift of gold, the ever-present energy of life, love, and wisdom that flows through us now. The light I am. Today, I let that light shine in my own unique and special way. Today, I bring the gifts of awareness, of consciousness, of healing and wholeness, of spiritual awareness to my life, to my world. Today, I am a beneficial presence. Today, I am the light I am. And with this light, we surround each other in this room. We extend this love, this harmonic energy to our spiritual community, to our friends and family, to all of creation. We hold the prayers in our prayer chests that have come in person or online in our hearts. And if you hold someone in prayer, I invite you to say their name out loud now or bring their name to mind. For each prayer that we hold in our heart, we surround each person and each situation with love. We know that divine love is doing its perfect work here and now to bring health and harmony, to establish a consciousness and awareness of peace, of compassion, of health and wholeness. We hold all of our world, national, state, and local leaders in this same prayer, seeing them making wise and loving decisions for peace on earth, goodwill, equality, and justice for all people. And for this time together, for this sacred, holy experience that we create together, let us celebrate by singing the Alleluia. And with a nice, deep, cleansing breath, let us return our attention to this time, this space, this energy, and this community around us, and gently open our eyes if you haven't already done so. And just allow that feeling of connection, of love, of generosity, the gifts of spirit, the gifts of frankincense and myrrh, and gold, to be present within you today. Unity Palo Alto is here to help you discover that spiritual magnificence, the light you are, and to help you live from that light every day. Our mission here is to help you transform your life and to inspire you to be a beneficial presence, to do good work in the world. And we are here because of your generous donations. There are so many ways in which, I'm supposed to click a slide here. There's so many ways in which you can support us. Of course, we're nearing the end of our pledge drive. The pledge drive will go on, but it's how we support and look at our planning for next year. So if you'd like to read the pledge letter and make a commitment, you can go to our website, unitypaloalto.org/pledge. There are so many ways in which you can support our spiritual community. But however you decide to give, whether it's of your love, your voice, your gifts, give it with love. For it's the manner that we give to the world that we receive from the world. It's the lens through which we give that we receive. So when we give with love, we receive with love. If you'd like to make a donation here in the sanctuary, there's a box in the back, silver box that says Love Offering. You can place your donation in there. You can make a donation online, or however you choose to give with love. The affirmation that we say is on the screen, and I invite you to affirm it with me. Together, divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I give, all that I receive, and all that I am. And so it is. So we're going to sing some more. Would you like to stand? Let's stand. Angels may have
stand. No, stand. Just kidding. Just kidding. So, Reverend John Riley, we got a lot going on here.
We
Yeah,
do have a
you're
lot
still
going
buddy.
on.
Yeah, so today after service, June, thank you, has organized our lunch brunch.
Bring your own lunch brunch.
Bring your own lunch brunch plus, because I hear there's some delicious, was it Greek soup? Greek lemon chicken soup. That sounds delicious. So the plus is if you brought something to share, we're going to share that. So that's going to be in the courtyard, right, June? Yes, Hall? Yes, Hall. Okay, so it's just down the walkway here. So you're invited to join in that. And there's some organized conversation there. So you have table topics, and it's all led, and it's a really nice way to go enjoy community. Don't worry about what you're going to talk about because you'll be given something to talk about. So don't worry about a conversation starter. You got it. Go have some delicious soup and some delicious company.
It's really a great way to connect and to meet each other. It's wonderful. And then next Sunday is our Burning Bowl service. It's normally the last Sunday of the year, but because this is the last Sunday of the year, it will be on New Year's Day. And our Burning Bowl service is one of our special services where you'll be invited to release and let go all of which does not serve you, which did not serve you in 2022, to cleanse yourself, to forgive and let go. We'll have the burning bowls out in the courtyard there, and we'll all have the opportunity to play with fire. I mean, to burn away all of those things, symbolically releasing this coming Sunday.
And then the following Sunday, the 8th, is our White Stone, in which we kind of take some time. We take some time to discern what's a word that will help us and ground us. And I think we kind of got them set up here today by starting them to think about their gifts. How are they going to nurture that? Then we get to release. And then you find that word that's going to guide you and ground you. So it's really a beautiful set of services coming up, and we invite you to those. Absolutely.
And I just want to take a moment before we sing our closing song, which you'll be required to stand again, so get prepared, to say thank you. To say thank you for being here. And this is, kind of a little different format. I loved being on stage with you, Casey. And Russell. Russell, you were a big part of the maestro of creating this experience. Thank you so much, Russell. Everyone else we gave off. And Catherine, thank you for being our vocals. And thank you for being our choir. We're just so grateful. We're grateful for this spiritual community and to be able to come together. It's been, I don't know if you noticed, it's been a few years. And it just feels good to be together. So join me please stand as we sing our closing song, White Christmas. Yay!
What did you say? Do I get to say it? Merry Christmas!
No.
Oh,
No.
Not yet.
Not yet. Sorry. And you need a microphone.
Oh, I don't think so.
No? You need a microphone because we got people online. Here we go.
I do. Yeah. Sorry, my peeps online.
Okay, and now our prayer for protection. Together, the light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is. And all is well.
And Merry Christmas!
Merry Christmas, everyone. Love and blessings. Have a wonderful day.
give, okay,